हाँ जी, वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह। सब तो पहला याद करते हैं तो शुक्र करते हैं उस अकाल पुरख का ते गुरु साहिब का जिन्होंने सदका अज असी इस वेन्यू से इस प्लेटफॉर्म से खड़े है तो जो आप एक अहम मुद्दा डिस्कस कर सकिए। ओपन टाइम असी जी साडी कम्यूनिटी रिएक्ट करती है जो साडी कम्यूनिटी होंदा है। अफसोस की गल है सानू थोड़ा अगाह वधू होना चाहिए है। इन्हां इवेंटां नूं छड्ड के पहले सानू सोचना चाहिए है। बट गुड दैट वी आर टुगेदर हियर। तो पातशाह का बहुत 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 शुक्र है। दूसरा धन्यवाद करना तुहाडा जिहड़ा तुसीं अपना कीमती समा कढ के इत्थे पहुंचे जो अपने बच्चों खातर शो करता है कि तुसीं सारे किन्ने जागरूक अपने बच्चों वास्ते उन्हां लई उन्हां दे जे समाज में कोई कुरीतियां हैगियां ते उन्हें सब तो पहला असीं एक्सेप्ट करिए। एक्सेप्ट करन तो बाद साडे जो खामियां हैगियां वो असीं उहनूं ठीक कर सकीए, खासकर बच्चों की कम्यूनीकेशन के बारे। तीसरा धन्यवाद है अपना साझा पंजाब जिन्हों ने आप प्लेटफॉर्म खड़ा किया है। असीं आ सारे इशूज डिस्कस करते अपने गुरुद्वारा लोकल लेवल से भी, पर जिहड़ी साडियां प्रॉब्लम इशूज है वो साडे गुरुद्वारे में वेख के या साडा धार्मिक स्टेज कित्थे है, कोई अमृतधारी है, कोई सहजधारी है, कोई कल्चरल प्रोग्राम पे बिलीव करता है, कोई नहीं करता है, कि किसी भी असीं स्टेज से है आप उन्होंने वेख के साडियां प्रॉब्लम सानू फेस नहीं आती। साडियां जो प्रॉब्लम वो वितकरा नहीं करदियां जो साडे ते आउंदियां हैं, पर असीं अपने आप दे विच इह वितकरा खड़ा करते हैं। कोई फलाने गुरुद्वारे का, कोई टिंपरे गुरुद्वारे का, कोई सहजधारी है, कोई अमृतधारी है, कोई नहीं है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली द प्रॉब्लम द इशूज नो कि इन्हां सारिਆਂ ਦੇ कितना इकट्ठा तय करना है। तो उस सोच को गांह रखदे होया यूजली असीं ट्राई की ना अपना साझा पंजाब में ट्राई की है कि असीं ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म खड़ा कर सकिए कि जो किसी स्पेसिफिक गुरुद्वारे के नाल कनेक्टेड ना हो, क्योंकि यह साडियां प्रॉब्लम साझियां हैं। कोई गार्लैंड जाता है, कोई यूलस जाता है, कोई रिसेप्शन जाता है या कोई कल्चर प्रोग्राम शो करता है। असीं वो जिहड़ी अपने आप च अपनी जिहड़ी क्लोजनेस हटाई है आपां उहनूं सारिਆਂ ਨੂੰ क्लोज आ सके, सारे इकट्ठे हो सके। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਲੋਜ਼ਨੈਸ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਯੂਜੂਅਲੀ ਪੀਪਲ ਬਿਲੀਵ ਕਿ ਅਨਪੜ੍ਹ ਜਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗਾ। I mean, I'll tell you, at the national level also, there are number of Sikh organizations, छोटी-छोटी organizations हैं, and they're working for the same cause, but very limited resources. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ से ਬਣਦੀ नहीं हैगी। कल्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लोकल देख लो, 1 2 3 4 वादियां अज 5 हो गई हैं। So it has nothing to do with the religious. Often people believe या blame करते हैं कि या जो religious बंदे ने आप पाठ जाते हैं, कोई जठियाला हो गया, कोई टकसाली हो गया। So this problem is everywhere. ये प्रॉब्लम हर एक दे विच हैगी है। तो कोशिश इन्हां वीरां दी जिन्हां ने अपना साझा पंजाब शुरू किया है, कोशिश इन्हां दी हैगी कि जे इहो जिहे टॉपिक असीं ओपन प्लेटफॉर्म ते डिस्कस कर सकीए तो हो सके कुछ लोग अनकंफर्टेबल फील हो। तो सब तो सारी बेनती है भी वी रिक्वेस्टिंग यू whether should we record only the stage or when we have a question answer session should we record that as well or not, and then we'll ask when we come to that question answer session। फिर मैं इस टॉपिक पे होना है, इस टॉपिक ज्यादा पिछोकड़ की है। अज का टॉपिक जो असीं चुनिया है टीन कम्यूनीकेशन। अपने बच्चों के नाल जो 13 साल तो 19 साल तक हैगे ने उन्हां दे नाल असीं कम्यूनीकेट किदां करिए। उहदे लई ना मैं वैल इक्विप्ड हैगा ते ना ही अपना साझा पंजाब, पर इन्हां दी कोशिश ये हैगी है कि इन्हां ने एक स्पैशलिस्ट जो इस एरिया नूं काफी चंगी तरह समझते हैं, डॉक्टर ममूना खान, उन्होंने इनवाइट किया है जो इस एरिया की काउंसलिंग करते हैं। लोकल डैलस मेट्रोप्लस के इन्हां दी प्रैक्टिस हैगी है, तो उस एरिया नूं कवर ये करनगे। पर जिहड़ा मैं तुहाडे नाल कुछ गल्लां साझीआं करना चाहुंदा है उस इवेंट नूं दस के ते प्लस जो साडी कुरीतियां हैगियां जो साडे सामने हैगियां असीं वेख के भी अपनी अखां बंद कीतियां हैगियां। कुछ आई थिंक 1 या 2 महीने पहला लोकल सिख कम्यूनिटी कैलीफोर्निया बेकरफील्ड दे विच एक न्यूज़ चली सी विच इंपैक्टेड आवर सिख कम्यूनिटी, जिहदे विच एक 15 साल की बच्ची कुछ कारणा करके प्रेगनेंट हो गई। एंड उन्होंने जो परिवार सीगा they got arrested ਤੇ finally ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ father ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਾਨ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੀ। ਮੇਰਾ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਇਹ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਸ ਬੱਚੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਵੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਜਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੈਗਨੈਂਟ ਹੋਈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਬੱਚੀ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚੜ ਕੇ obvious ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਜਦੋਂ obvious ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਾਤਾ ਸੀ, ਜੋ ਆਪ ਇੱਕ ਨਰਸ ਸੀ, ਸਾਡੀ ਸਮਾਜਿਕ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਸ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੀ ਭਰੂਣ ਹੱਤਿਆ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰੇ ਹੀ। ਇੱਥੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਪਿਤਾ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਮਾਤਾ ਵੀ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਸਰੂਪ ਚ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਐਡਿਡ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਪਰ ਜੋ ਸਮਾਜ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਰਿਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹ ਨਮੋਸ਼ੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਏਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। And I'll go on couple of examples here, right? ਉਹਦੀ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਕਰਤੀ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਤਮਘਾਤ ਖੁਦਕੁਸ਼ੀ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਸਿਵਾ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਛੱਡੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ। ਇਹ ਲਿਮਿਟਡ ਇੰਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ। ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਤੇ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਪਬਲਿਸਾਈਜ਼ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ, ਪਰ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਹੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੰਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੇਸ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਚਲਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਇੱਥੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਜੇ ਦੋ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ਼ਿਪ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਛੱਡ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇੱਕ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਮੈਂ ਲੋਕਲ ਡੈਲਸ ਦਾ ਦੇਵਾਂ। ਕਿਸੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਗਲਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਉਹਨੇ ਉਹ ਗਲਤੀ ਮੰਨ ਲਈ, ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਤਾ, ਪਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਕਦੀ ਮਾਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ, ਨੈਵਰ ਐਵਰ। ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਸੇ ਨਿਗਾਹ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਵੀ ਹੈ, ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਦੇ ਆਲਸੋ ਗੈਟ ਟੈਕਡ। ਉਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਉਹਦਾ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਹਾਈਲਾਈਟ ਨਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ। ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਟੀਨ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ, ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ, ਹਾਊ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੀਡ ਟੂ ਚੇਂਜ ਐਂਡ ਅ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਲਾਈਨ ਵਿਦ ਦ ਕਿਡਸ। ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਦੀ। ਇੱਕ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਦੇਣਾ। ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਬੱਚਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਦਾ ਡਿਵੋਰਸ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ, for him, for a boy, it's so easy to find an unmarried girl. ਪਰ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬੱਚੀ ਦਾ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਸ ਬੱਚੀ ਦੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, once a divorce charge is there, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਰੀਸੈਂਟਲੀ ਇੱਕ 6 ਮਿੰਟ ਤੇ ਆਰਟੀਕਲ ਸੀਗਾ, and she was a journalist, born and brought up in UK. For some reason, the marriage lasted only for 6 months. And till today, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਪੱਗ ਵਾਲਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਗਰੂਮ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। But the option she got, all the divorcees, and she was asking, why can't have the same option the way the person, ਜਿਹਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ boy ਕੋ option ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਸੇ male ਕੋ option ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਦੋ ਬੱਜਰ ਕੁਰਾਤਾ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸੇਮ ਨਿਗਾਹ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ। ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕ ਕੇ ਕੇਸ ਕਤਲ ਕਰਤੇ ਨੇ, ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ, ਇਹ ਥਿੰਕ ਇਟਸ ਓਕੇ, ਘਰ ਦੀ ਖੇਤੀ से ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਗਲਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਫਿਰ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਅਡਲਟਰੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਟੈਗ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਉੱਤੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਮਾਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ। ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਨਮੋਸ਼ੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹਦਾ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਬਾਈਕਾਟ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਲੈਕਟਿਵਲੀ। ਵੀ ਆਲ ਡੂ ਦੈਟ। ਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਭਰੂਣ ਹੱਤਿਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਨਾ, ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗਾਂਹ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਫੇਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਣਗੇ। ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਰਗੇਟ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਪੰਜਾਬ। ਭਰੂਣ ਹੱਤਿਆ ਇੱਥੇ US ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇਸ ਡੈਲਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ, ਪਰ ਵੀ ਡੋਂਟ ਐਡਰੈਸ। ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਮੈਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਲਵਾਂਗਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਰ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਸੇਵ ਕਰਨੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਜਿਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਮੁਗਲਾਂ ਨੇ, ਮਾਤਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਬੱਚੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਣ, ਸਿੰਘ ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਣ, ਸੇਮ ਗੁਰੂ ਉਹ ਅਕ੍ਰੋਸ ਦ ਟੇਬਲ ਸਿੱਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਦੇ। ਔਰੰਗਜ਼ੇਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਹਦਾ ਬੇਟਾ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਸ਼ਾਹ, and he sits across the table and discuss, can we maintain peace? We are demanding the justice. Can you give us the justice? ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਿਸਾਨੀ ਮੋਸਟਲੀ ਕਿਸਾਨੀ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਸਾਡੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਵੱਟ ਵਾਹ ਲਈ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹਦੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਮਰ ਗਿਆ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਲੱਤ ਭੰਨੀ ਗਈ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਕੁਛ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਹੋਵੇ, ਸਦੀਆਂ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣੀ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਨੇ ਏਦਾਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। Look at the Guru Sahib. ਸਾਰਾ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਵਾਰਿਆ and still he is ready to sit across the table. ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ। ਭੂਮੀਆਂ ਚੋਰ ਅਵਲ ਦਰਜੇ ਦਾ ਚੋਰ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ, ਹੁਣ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਐਂਗਲ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ। ਬਟ ਦ ਮੂਮੈਂਟ ਹੀ ਐਂਟਰਡ ਦ ਸੰਗਤ, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਭੁਲਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹਦੀ ਗਲਤੀ। ਮੇਰੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਇਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ? ਜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ? ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਝਾਤੀ ਮਾਰਿਓ। ਲੋਕਲ ਡੈਲਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਘਟਨਾ ਹੋਈ ਹੈਗੀ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਲੋਕ ਸੀਗੇ, ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਬਾਈਕਾਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ? Was it right? No. Same thing, ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਬੱਚੀ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਸ ਪਿਤਾ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਾਨ ਗਵਾਈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ। We are responsible for that. ਜੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਨਾ, ਉਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਾਨ ਗਵਾ ਦੇਵੇ। We are responsible for that. ਉਹ ਬੱਚੀ 15 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਬੱਚੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕੀ, ਆਪਣੀ ਮਾਤਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ because of this pressure. ਉਸ ਪਿਤਾ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਾਨ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੀ because of this pressure that we create. ਜੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੇ। ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ। With that, I won't take too much time. मैं वेलकम करना चाहूँगा। I'll welcome Dr. Mamuna Khan. She's a counselor and she has been practicing for past 18 years and across the Dallas Metroplex, Plano, Rowlett, Dallas, Frisco, you name it. And with that, I'll welcome her to address about the teen communication and then slowly getting into the teen pregnancy. Please.
Hello, my name is Mamuna Khan, and I'm an LCC. I can understand Punjabi, but I can't speak it. But I speak Hindi, and I'm hoping everybody here understands English. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, I work with kids a lot. I have kids, and it's a big responsibility. Okay, and some of the stuff I might say, I don't mean to offend any of the parents here, but what happens is that I truly believe in this. It's not an age of a child. You have to work on your kids since they're little, okay? Because I promise you, if you don't work on them when they're 5, 6, 7, you are going to work on them when they're in their 20s or whatever, they'll get into something. So very few parents are very lucky that their kids don't go the wrong way. Kids are kids. And if you all think about it, we were ahead of our parents all the time. You know, like our parents were like strict and said, oh, can't do this, I know if you do this. We found a way of doing it, okay? So our kids are ahead of us, okay? I have an 8-year-old daughter who is in the mindset of 16-year-old. So kids these days are completely different. So to deal with them is first of all, there's no such thing as a bad kid. No kid is born bad. So it's the parents who have to focus on the kids, train them right, train them with respect. Punishment does not work. Okay? And I know from our part of the world, we believe scare the kid, punish the kid if they do something wrong, if they come up to you with something, I've heard so many parents say this, the kid is saying, why is this way? Why do I have to follow this rule? And parents' answer is 90% of the time, because I said so. Okay? Now, if you're a kid, because of what I said so will work till you're 6, 7 years old. But because I said so is not going to work once they start getting older. So you always have, no matter how stupid things that they're asking, like, why is a butterfly flying? Why can't I fly? Because I said so. So, give an answer, open communication. And with daughters, this is for the men, okay? With daughters, you all do not understand how important a daughter's relationship with her father is. A mother is always a mother. The kids are always going to love their mother. But a daughter learns a lot from her father. Now, if you love your daughter, you tell your daughter, you know what? You can do whatever you can in this life, and this is right, this is wrong. A daughter will listen more closely to her father because we are born that way. We want to please our dads. We are daddy's girls. Okay, we might go through a stage when we're like mommy's girls, but the older we get, the kind of men we choose are our fathers. No matter how hard we try not to, if we have a bad father, but we go that route. So, as fathers, if you're closed-minded and you say, you know what, she's a girl, honey, you talk about it to her. She's my daughter. How do I talk about men to her? Who better than a man can talk to his daughter than a man? Right? I know it's uncomfortable. I'm not saying get into details with her, but start from a young age. Start from a very young age where your communication is open and you can tell your kids, hey, if you make a mistake, you lie to me, yes, I'll be upset with you. I'm not going to love you less. If you come to me, whatever the consequences are going to be less because you came and told me, instead of you hiding stuff from me. And kids, punishment does not work with kids. Talking works with kids. Okay? Talking in a manner where it's not threatening. Oh, well, if you do this, I'm going to throw you out of the house. Next thing you know, your 14-year-old packed her bags and ran away. Okay? So, don't make threats. Listen to what they have to say. And keep in mind, U.S. is not the only country this is happening in. I would honestly tell you, Pakistan, India, all these other places in the world are probably a little worse, especially among the upper class. Okay, our kids are still better here. But the thing is, we brought them here. Okay, so it becomes our responsibility because we brought them here. Now, they go to school, they meet all kinds of people. You can only protect them so much. But then, they meet people where, there's guys, girls, and I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but Texas has the highest pregnancy rate in the United States. And a young girl getting pregnant is really not good for her future because stops her from going to school, stops everything else. So the first thing is education. Prevention is where it starts, not after an incident happens. And I've noticed this again and again in masjids and all these other churches, and what we do is when an incident happens, we focus on it. And we are all disturbed by it because we imagine our child. And then we're like, okay, we're going to do something about it. And then like 2-3 weeks later, it's gone. And we don't focus on it. But it's a process. I mean, you have to keep learning and learning and learning. Now, if I ask somebody here, what's a jewel? Does everybody know what a jewel is? That kids are using? Yeah. So it's a smoking thing. And you can't smell it. So parents never know. Or e-cigs. Or, there was K2. There was, there's Molly. They have all these different names for them that you are never going to know. Okay? Google them. Take the time to Google stuff and look at signs in your kid. If your kid is being lazy, if your kid has changed in personality, getting agitated, or your kid is sleeping a lot or avoiding you, sit and ask, don't accuse them. Sit and ask them, hey, is something going on? Is you doing something? Somebody bullying you at school? Anything. Now, I really do respect a lot of parents, and this is how you train your kids from the start so that they don't get defensive. There's so many drug tests out there that are, over the counter. Do random drug tests on your kids. That's your right as a parent. Okay? They cannot refuse it. And if they say, you're not trusting me, say, no, honey, I am trusting you. And I know this is going to be negative, but I am taking precautions before anything else can happen. Because they go to school. See, I grew up here, so I don't think parents understand how hard it is when you grow up here. Is because we have to follow our family traditions, and then we have to go and fit into this world here, right? And we're confused. Especially when we are young, we are very confused. We don't know what is right, what is wrong. Until your kid is like 12 or whatever, if you say, Trump is the best man in this world and blah, 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 or, daddy is wrong or whatever, like they'll believe you because you're the parent. They'll believe, or you should hate Christians, you should hate Sikhs, you should hate Muslims, they will believe you and they will do that. But once they're like 13 and stuff, they start to get a gray area in their brain where they start to question, my parents right or outsiders right? And they start to get their own opinion. And that's when a lot of struggle starts with parents and kids, is the early teens, because they start seeing things in a different way. Because they start questioning you. They're like, Mom, you said this. You said arranged marriage. You think I'm going to do that? No, I'm not going to do it. Well, no, honey, it's our family tradition. That's how we do stuff. we picked the girl. Well, it is the family tradition. Good luck if it happens. But you also have to understand you brought them here. You brought them around so many different cultures, so many different religions, that they have been exposed to so much that it gets really difficult for them to pick, whatever, Pakistani, Gujarati, whatever guy. They might fall in love with somebody else, And what do? You disown them? What is it that you do? So from the start, I think religion is very important, because I think if you marry out of your religion, there's conflict, So from the start, get your kids to understand that part, that, marriage is hard itself. But if you marry somebody from a completely different culture and stuff, you have more issues to deal with, what the kids are going to be, all that. But talk to them when they're young. Talk to them. And I know there's another thing that it's really hard in this short period of time to cover everything. But I know there's another thing which in our culture we try to avoid, and that's sexual abuse in kids. And you will not believe 1 in 4 kids get sexually abused. Okay? So it's very rare that it's by a stranger. It is very common it's by somebody extremely close to the kid. Uncle, aunt, somebody that they trust completely, good family friends. There is no child molester written on anybody's face. Okay? So what you have to do, and I started this with my kids since they were 3, and I did this with my nephew until he was 21, until one day he was like, Mona, stop it. I got it. So it's, does anybody touch you in these places? Does anybody touch you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable? What did you do when you went to this person's house? And will you come tell me? Because it's not your fault. Because kids, when they get into that kind of situation, they think it's their fault. They think, oh, if we go tell, it's going to be like, why did you let that person do that? And, or, my rule in my house is, as far as sleepovers go, any kid can come sleep over at my house, but my kid is not going to sleep over at somebody else's house. My reason being, maybe because if it's my job or what I've seen, is you trust the family you're sending your kid to. But, you can have a daughter, you can have a son, but you don't know. The father might be an excellent father for their kids. You don't know what you could do to your kids or the mother, and it's not just men. It's majority is men, but there's women too. And also their brothers in that house sleeping. How do you know what their intentions are? So it's better to be safe than sorry. And it's better to give the confidence to your kids that no matter what happens, come tell me. Now, you might have a 13, 14-year-old son or a daughter who's like, well, I see you drinking. I want to drink, And you're like, well, this is the legal age. You can't do it, and stuff. But always tell them, hey, if you're going to try anything, you come to me. Do it in front of me. Because that way you're building trust. It's better, they're going to do it anyway. Let me tell you this. It's better than doing it around you who can supervise it and then tell them, see, that's what happens. You throw up. That's what happens. You know, it's not what it's made out to be. So, it's all about parental awareness, you know, and as far as prevention and like teen pregnancy that we're talking about, you have to talk to your daughter and your son. Okay, so in our culture, hey, it's okay for a boy. How does the girl get pregnant? It has to be a boy, right? So we have to teach our sons that this is not, you don't do that. And you have to let them know that if you have made up your mind, because let me tell you, no matter what culture, no matter what religion you're from, unless you want to pack their bags and leave the country or whatever, they'll find something in that country too. If they've made up their mind that they are going to have sex, they will, you can change them. They'll figure out a way. Okay? So the best thing is to first tell them, explain to them, okay, you get pregnant. You like this guy? Fine. You know, we understand. How are you going to take care of your baby? Number one, your baby could be premature because you're young. Okay, you're risking your baby's life too. And you can't go to school. You got to finish, you know, stop your studying and take care of this baby day and night. It's not as cute as it seems for anybody here who has kids. It's a lot of work. Okay, I mean, it's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of work, it's not a doll that you can just put to sleep whenever you want. So, you've got to give them this thing. And also, really important, really, really, really important, and I've done this with my kids and I promise you it works, is show them pictures on the internet of sexually transmitted diseases. Okay? Especially like when they're 13 or 14. Because, you know, we think, oh, no, they're too innocent. You'd be surprised what I could see and what they know, even when they're 8 or 9. So, you want to show them those pictures and say, hey, this is what it looks like. And you don't know who has it. So you do something like that, this is what you're going to get. And scare them. Scare tactics work good with stuff like this. You know, pictures work good. They're just like looking at those pictures and going, oh my God, you know. And kids, I'll tell you, teenagers, they have this thing where we all had it when we were teenagers. Nothing is going to happen to us. You can jump off a cliff, we'll be fine. You know? So, with teenagers, you have to deal with them, like, in a way where you're you have to take them in your confidence. One parent has to, okay? Take them in your confidence, talk to them, and show them that you know what's out there. You know what? A lot of teenagers are like, mom and dad are stupid. They don't even know what this is. They don't even know what that is. They'll never find out. But once they know that, hey, I know what Molly is. I know what this is. I know exactly what you can name it whatever you want. I know what you're talking about. You speak their language. And that's when they're like, okay, they're aware of what's going on. you know, so, and let them know, you know what? Our house rules are, we trust everybody, but there's going to be random drug testing. And as far as daughters getting pregnant, I mean, it's a really hard thing for us to believe, but I wish there were some more young kids here like you guys, but these days things are very different. Like, they will tell you, it's not the guys chasing the girls, it's girls chasing the guys. So, and the pressure is at 13, 12, 14, you have a boyfriend, have you had sex yet? And when you say no, you feel a little stupid. You know, you feel like, okay, there's something wrong with me. Like, all these people are doing stuff, you know, like, and now it's so easy with social media. There's Snapchat, Instagram, you name it, dating sites, Tinder, and all these things. Watch what your kids are doing. A lot of parents feel the convenience, including me. I mean, when you have work to do, you have things to do, you hand your kids the iPad or whatever, you know, here you go. And they are on it, they're doing whatever. Look at the history. Look at what they're looking at. And now, like, social media and internet has gotten so smart that a little girl could be innocently putting Barbie something, and you'd be surprised with the images that come up. So when those images come up, kids are curious. They start looking and they start learning. So you have to watch out for what they're doing. When they're in school, check the room, check the doors. If they're in your house, living under your this thing, there is no such thing as privacy. Okay, I wouldn't go tell them, hey honey, guess what? I went through your pants and I went through the pockets of your shirt and stuff. But I wouldn't say it, but I would do it to make, not because I'm curious to see, what, you know, not good things or anything, but if there's anything wrong that they're doing, you know, before it happens. Because they're not going to come tell you unless you have a relationship like that. But that relationship has to be built when the kid is very young. And it still can be built when they're like teenagers and stuff. But you have to act like a parent, but you also have to act like a friend. So they tell you a little bit of something, hey, I have a crush on this guy and blah, 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 you know, and you just say, oh, you know, that's not allowed. You know, you can't do this. I mean, these are normal things. These are hormones. You know, their hormones are going crazy. So, I mean, and you're living in a place where everything is so open. Like, my son he's in 10th grade, and he goes to Jasper, and when I go drop him off, it really surprises me. Like, girls are wearing shorts that are so short, and what surprises me is the guys are not looking. They're so immune to it now that they're not looking. So that's why I say that times have turned. Before, it was guys who were like staring at the girls, and our generation here, because we didn't grow up like that, we didn't grow up seeing things like that, so we still stare, we still do whatever, but not our kids. Watch your boys. they're not like that. Girls are more like that these days. So they're the ones on WhatsApp, texting guys, or, I have a crush on him. I fought with this girl because she likes him. So it becomes like a competition thing. And girls' mentality is, okay, well, if I sleep with this guy, then I have one up. He's gonna like me. Guys don't work that way. Sex for women is completely different for sex than sex for guys. Okay, if they don't care about the girl, there's no emotion involved. So they don't care about the consequences, because like saying earlier, it's the girl. Like the guy does not get any bad on him. Oh, it's a normal thing. He's a guy. What did you expect him to do? Why? Why are men not held liable? Why is it that in our culture, like if a girl, it's always been like, okay, well, you know what? You're in a marriage. Husband cheats on his wife. The wife is supposed to forgive. Now, you do the opposite. Women cheat, because wife cheats on her husband. Oh my God, ego. That's it. No forgiveness. You're gone. And you are trashed in the society. While the male has done the same thing, and it's all forgotten about, and the wife forgives. So, but don't expect this in our generation. The younger generation that's coming up. Because their thoughts are completely different. You now have to start thinking like babies. Not, okay, well, I'm your mom, I'm your dad, you gotta respect me and listen to what I have to say and stuff. They pretend they're listening, they're not. They're not. So, and another thing in all our culture, like I've seen this in this thing, why is it that an incident has to happen for us after it happens to get together and learn? Why can't we learn before it happens? And I think it's because we think, let's keep this thing. With child abuse, I've seen so many cases from our culture that the uncle is abusing the kid. The kid is coming to me and telling me he's abusing me. And the parents are like, oh, we don't want to destroy the relationship. So we don't want to destroy the family. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. I can't ignore it. I have to report it to CPS. It does not get ignored. That's my job. And they don't want to believe the kid. No. He was doing it out of love. He didn't mean it. Or I've seen so many parents say, give Uncle so-and-so or Auntie so-and-so a hug. And the kid is like, I don't want to. No. Give him a hug. Why? I mean, that should come from inside the kid. If he wants to or she wants to give somebody a hug, they will. If not, they have the right to have the boundaries to say no. That's how you teach them to say no. So that you're not teaching them that, oh, anybody who asks for a hug, give them a hug. No. They have their right and they can say no. And so, like I said, it starts from a young age that you have to start talking. And it cannot happen where some incident happens and everybody's on it and they're like, you know what, we're going to talk about it. 2 weeks later, everything is gone. In our culture, it's so more than our own family. I think we are so concerned with how other people are going to look at us. And to me, that's a really sad thing. Because people are going to talk about you no matter, you can be an angel, you can be a devil. They will find something to gossip about. So, who cares about people? Are they feeding you? Are they taking care of your kids? Who are they? And the younger generation thinks that way. They're like, what is this? You know, like, why is, you know, like in Hindi, they'll say, log kya bolenge? Or, what are people going to say? No, it's not what people are going to say. It's what your house feels like, what your kids feel like, what you feel like is right. Not what people are going to feel like. People are not going to come help you when you need them the most. Very few. You're lucky if you have like 2 or 3 people that come. They're there for your good time, and they're there to gossip, basically. So, oh, their house, this is happening, their house. Something is happening in every single person's house. You have to remember, you are not the only one. It may not be the same situation, but something is happening in every single person's house. No life is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. So it's how we work on it. And mental health, I think, is extremely important. Now we're seeing it more and more, even over here on the media, about mental health. You know, kids killing kids in school. But at least I think we here are more open to mental health than our cultures. Our cultures is like, no, it's not depression, just pray to God, it's gonna go away. No, that's not how it happens. Substance abuse, addiction. Oh, no. First of all, use precaution, like I said. Catch a kid smoking, then have consequences. Check the backpack for a jewel, or you would find different stuff. And like I said, do drug tests. And also know that you inherit a lot of these things. So, if I ask my Mom, was there depression in our family? Of course not. Mom, did anybody have anger issues? Of course not. Mom, did anybody have this thing? Of course not. Our family was perfect. Right. Okay. So, yeah, we deny everything. But the sad part is that it does come from, certain stuff comes from this thing. If somebody has depression, the kid could have it. If somebody is bipolar, the kid could have it. You know, so see times if somebody has addiction in your family, and it doesn't have to be drug addiction. It could be sex addiction. It could be addiction to working. It could be, you know, workaholic. It could be just different kinds. And it could come down to the kid. And we blame people. There's a difference between substance abuse and substance dependence. Substance abuse is when a lot of teenagers abuse like alcohol and drugs just because they're experimenting, so they're abusing. Dependence is when you get dependent on it, okay, which doesn't take much longer if you don't stop it. Now, that is a brain disease. It's not something that you can just pray for and say, oh no, what happened? You know, it's in the brain. Part of your brain is wanting that thing. People switch addictions all the time. You know, you take him off of drugs, he'll find something else. Or she'll find something else. You take them off something else, they find something else. So it is a disease. So just like you look at diabetes or you look at high blood pressure, mental illness is a disease. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I don't know why a lot of people that come to my practice, they'll say, oh, so we're crazy, that's why we're here. And I'm like, no, it's the ones that are not here that are crazy because they're in denial. We all have issues, and some of us more than others, and you have to face them. Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of. It's like having anything else. Postpartum depression, kids depression, kids having hormonal problems, kids having drug issues. It's nothing. It's workable. But if you just deny it, you block it out, you say, hey, I can fix this in my own house, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Prayers always work, but even God says do something about it. So I think the biggest thing is to take the stigma off mental health. Take the stigma off like, oh, mental health is bad. Take the stigma off that, oh, what are people going to say? That is, I think, the number one issue we face is what are people going to say? And now this one incident happened, okay, but there was also an incident with this little Indian girl over here that, so these are things that do happen, okay? You can't control all of them, but you can prevent what's happening in your house. So, and that too, if you think about it, like, when you look at a lot of these cases, would a normal person do stuff like this? No. There has to be some issues for somebody to do something like that, right? There's so many options. Okay, say we've tried everything, your kid is like, no, I am going to have sex. Okay, well, there's birth control. There's this, there's that. Try to do whatever you can to prevent it. She gets pregnant. Now, everybody's religion is different. There's abortion, there is different things you can do. There's a morning after pill. There is always adoption. You don't want the baby, don't kill it. There's plenty of people dying to have a baby. If you don't want to show yourself, there's so many spots. Go leave the baby there and go on with your life. It's not the end of the world. I don't know exactly about your religion, but suicide in our religion is wrong. We can't take our own life. We believe God gives you life. God has the right to take it away. So you can't do it yourself. It's the same. So, that's what I'm saying. All religions teach us the same right thing. They all do. It's how you follow it. And anger and emotions are your worst enemies. They are your ego, anger, emotions are your worst enemies. Every problem can be solved. Every problem can be solved. Give it time, every problem can be solved. But if you act hastily, then you're going to do something extremely wrong that you're going to regret. Now that whole family got destroyed. So nothing good came out of that. And I know everybody that's come here today, is probably not like that because you guys are interested in learning how to deal with your kids. You know, so that's something that you guys gotta give yourself a pat on your back for, because if you are here, you're learning, that means you do care, which there are plenty of other parents out there that are like, oh, we can handle it. Our kids wouldn't do that. Oh, he's a boy, he's gonna do this. Oh, she's a girl, she's gonna do this. And that's not the case. I mean, you have to have an open communication. Communication is so important. If you don't have communication in your marriage fails. If you don't have communication with your kids will fail. Or you will fail as a parent. You know, and it's always very easy to blame the kids. I always tell parents that. But you have to stop and think, what did I do? What did I miss? You know, like, certain things you can't help. Like now, if somebody goes to school and they decide, okay, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom and, excuse me, but have like sex with this guy. Now the parent thinks you're in the bathroom, your school. They can't control that part. You know, they can't control that part. But what you do with it, how you deal with it afterwards is, and that I think comes, like when I tell you, when it comes from a father, if you have a strong father, you don't want to disappoint your father. But the talk about sex comes from a mother, and the mother can say, look, you're a woman, or even to the son, these are the responsibilities that come with these things. You know, it's not easy. It's not a piece of cake to have a baby, and it's not an Indian movie. It's not happily ever after. There are very few happily ever afters, to be honest with you. What you see on Facebook is not true. What you see on social media is not true. Everybody is not always happy taking selfies on vacations and stuff. No, they never take selfies when they're crying, or they don't have makeup on, or they don't have this thing. You always see like all these things, and then you look at it and you say, oh my God, my life is like just boring and horrible, and these people are just having a great time. No, they're not. It's all fake. You know, it really is. I mean, it's all fake. So, I mean, I think that to cover a lot of stuff is really hard, but to cover one thing at a time is one issue at a time, because there's such big issues like sex prevention, child abuse, you know. That's the one that gets to me the most, because a kid is not supposed to see abuse, and because he can't defend himself or she can't defend herself, and for a parent not to believe that it's happening, and then even when they find out that it's happening, because the kid builds up the strength to say it, and you say, no, well, you know, don't tell anybody because it's going to hurt the relationship. And let me tell you, if you stop that, like if you stop your kid, you're putting other kids at risk. You might be like ignoring it, but that person's going to do the same thing to somebody else's kid. And if we think that we don't know a person like that, that, oh, no, everybody in our family is perfect, we're lying to ourselves. So watch out for somebody who's giving too much attention to your kid. Watch out for your kid feeling uncomfortable around that person. You know, watch out for signs. Watch out for like them buying the kid stuff for no reason. Trying to take your kids, oh, I'll take him to the park. I'll take him to the park. You know, it's not only girls who are getting sexually abused when they're little, it's boys too. So, and oh no, this guy's the priest, he's the head of our church, he's fake. You know, nope, you see that on TV too. So, I mean, it's very sad, but everybody is human, nobody's perfect. The only thing that we can do is take precaution, you know, as men and women. And if a kid is seeing fighting between parents in the house, that is not a good thing. You guys, I mean, every married people fight, okay? I mean, it's like normal. But just like, go inside, shut the door, you know, and fight as much as you want, and come back, and then you can tell your kids, hey, you fight with your brother and sisters, we live together too. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Like be Bollywood and just like happily ever after? That doesn't even happen in Bollywood anymore. So, I mean, but when it comes to physical abuse, like husband, wife hitting each other, that I think affects the kids. Everything, you have to be, you're their role model, you're their world, you know, for the kids. They don't look outside of you. So whatever you're doing in front of them and is what you're teaching them. And nobody's perfect. Like if I tell you, oh, never fight in front of your kids, I mean, that's impossible. I mean, it's going to happen. They're going to hear it. But as long as they see love with it, they understand that, hey, you know what? There are arguments. And then mom and dad are fine, you know? So don't bring up divorce as a threat, because that to a child is very real. To you guys, it may be like in anger, but to them, it stays in their head, like, okay, this is going to happen. And if you are in a bad relationship where it is abusive, then what is the best thing for the child? I mean, do you want your child to see this stuff and you want your child to learn, okay, well, I should hit mom, or you want daughter to learn that it's okay for a man to hit me? No. I think in certain situations you can't help get divorced. I mean, there's not, or nobody needs to be abused. I mean, that's one thing. No, emotionally, mentally, physically, nobody. Whether you're a child, whether you're an adult. And in our culture, it can become like a domino effect where we don't want to get a divorce because of the kids, but the kids are seeing it, they're doing it to other people, and it just keeps going. Somebody has to break the cycle somewhere, you know. So, and like, you know, he was saying that, you know, man gets married and divorced, he can get a single wife, yeah, he's never been married and stuff, and for a woman, it's hard, right? But he might get the single wife, girl who's never been married before and stuff, but the way I look at it, good luck to him, because if he is the way he is, he's going to have the same problems. So you just gave away your problems to somebody else. And as far as a woman, oh, can I get married or can't I? We don't need to have a man to support us. And even getting married to somebody with kids, nothing wrong. I mean, they're kids. I mean, what difference does it make? And I don't think that people, the next generation thinks that way. You know, the next generation does not really care. They are like, okay, whatever. You know, like, she's divorced, who cares? I like her, and that's it. So, I'm going to leave some time for questions, if anybody has any.
Yes, that's that now, or are you going to do a question?
No.
Okay. I've got a quick question. You touched on grooming a little bit, like the gifts and the. You touched on that. Well, firstly, thank you very much for coming
Oh,
here
no.
and sharing all the
Thank you. My pleasure.
Of course. That's really good for me to try and open. But you touched a little bit about grooming. A lot of us who have, we don't recognize the signs of grooming because our social structure is such that we are more trusting, especially when it comes to officials in institutions like schools and those kinds. What kind of things how do we communicate those things with those institutions to protect our children?
You can, let me tell you, you can talk to an institution, they're gonna say it doesn't happen here, okay? The only person you can talk to is the kid, and you tell them that, this guy might be a very religious guy or whatever, but be careful. Is he touching you in any which way? Is he telling you things that are not appropriate for your age? Is he taking you somewhere? Is he working with you by yourself when you should be with other people? So it is all, the grooming is, when I say grooming, I should have explained it better. Grooming is building trust, basically. So what they do is they build trust in that kid, okay? Where it's so much trust that the kid enjoys being with them. And then when the kid enjoys being with them, they will be patient. They'll take it years, they have to. And once the kid enjoys being with them, and he'll tell you, hey, Dad, I want to go with Uncle so-and-so, and you're like, and he's insistent, and you're like, okay, well, he likes him. So then when the abuser does something to the kid, it becomes really hard for the kid to come back and say anything, because the kid feels, I would feel the same way, that I allowed it. It's my fault. Everybody told me, but it's my fault. I wanted to be with him. I wanted the stuff. I wanted to go to the playground with him. I wanted to do this. So, I can't go back and tell Mom, Dad, or anybody, because that's why they call it grooming. They groom them so well. And a lot of times they'll say, you know what, you tell anybody, I'm going to hurt your mom and dad. And so the best thing, or I'm going to hurt your family. And the best thing to tell your kids is, if anybody tells you that, nobody can hurt your family. Tell them, yeah, sure, try. Scream and run. The more you scream, whether it's somebody trying to attack you as an adult or whatever, the more you scream, the more you fight, the best chance you have for survival. Never get into a car. Fight for your life, And same thing with kids. At bus stops and stuff, I always feel like somebody should be there. And I think the problem that we have these days is both parents are working and nobody has the time, So before it was like somebody was always there. But I still see that in our community, the mom is there at the bus station or the dad's picking up the kids from school or whatever, which is good. I think we're getting there, but we have to be careful.
I have somebody say something. I have another quick question.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the difference between girls and boys, and that's something that we're trying to, part of what everybody's saying. is that there should be equality. That's between, boys, girls, men, women, etc. But the big issue I see at the teenage stage, at least the one that I'm trying to understand a little bit more, is that girls mature more quicker than boys do anyway. That's a known fact, right? So we don't equate that when we're looking at things. When we look at a girl at a particular age, and then we look at a male at that same age, they're not at the same maturity level.
Yeah.
So how can we as parents begin to recognize that, knowing that mentally we seem to have that sort of mindset?
Right.
Is there something you feel for that?
Yeah. So when your daughters, you'll be surprised. They'll be like 8, 9 years old. They're like looking at themselves in the mirror and fixing their hair, being conscious about their weight. I mean, these are all signs that they are, because at that age you shouldn't be caring about your appearance and all that stuff. So that's when I think, as a family, as parents, you come in and you say, you know what, you have all these years to deal with all these things, and you're starting too early. I don't want you to be staring at yourself in the mirror, doing your hair. You know what they'll do? They'll go to school and they'll do it. They'll fix clothes in the trunk, change. I mean, they will. But at least you are getting the base in the head. They are going to make mistakes. They are. But they will always have that in the back of their mind that, okay, you know what? There's that guilt. Or instead of a parent never talking about anything, at least the parent who is, there is a guilt there, and you are making a foundation for them that they might go the other way, but they will come back because they know the right from the wrong. So.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming and speaking to us.
Oh, sure.
So my question is, you were giving us an example where, when the kids are at school, parents could go to X or drugs or something for the kids having. So I guess my question is more of, okay, the parents went and they checked that they found something. So now, you also said punishment doesn't work. So now how do you deal with the situation where your kid comes back? How does parents go about talking to their kids without punishing them and I guess not trying to be accusing and trying to build a trusting relationship with them? So what are some techniques our parents or we as leaders can use to talk to the kids without really punishing them?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. I'm glad you brought that up. By punishing them, what I mean is hitting them, or, because that's very common in our culture, you can hit your kid and stuff. So that's not punishment. That's punishment to me. Consequences are a different thing. So there should be consequences for that. Okay, so say you find something, and, okay, well, first, you say, hey, you know what, without telling them what you found, are you doing this? No, I'm not, of course. Okay, well, are you being honest with me? Yeah. If you were doing something like that, would you be honest with me? Yeah. Okay, well, now you're not being honest with me, you're just being dishonest with me, because what is this? It's not mine. Somebody probably put it there. It's not. I swear, it's not mine, right? Well, no, it is yours. Okay, how long have you been doing it? What else have you been doing? So ask leading questions. Where did you get it from? who is it that's giving this to you? And when you ask in rage, you're like scaring the kid. When you ask in a calm way, like, look, we can solve this issue, but just answer my questions. You know, where did you get it from? How long have you been using it? Is there anything else that you're using? And so that way you get your answers. And why are you lying to me? You know, what do you think I'm going to do? Well, I didn't want to disappoint you. Well, you've already disappointed me. But I still love you. And I want to help you. Because you're not going to stop loving your kids, right? They can disappoint you. And trust me, when you tell somebody that they've disappointed you, they feel very bad. They feel sad. Okay, especially when they put their trust in you. So, that's what I would do. And then it depends. Like if they were just experimenting with it, like I said, you know, there's substance abuse, substance dependence. So their consequence should be, okay, well, I'm going to drug test you every week, you know, and you don't get your phone. Or take things that are important to them away for like a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is. You know, you don't have this. You lost your privilege. This was a privilege because we trusted you. You broke the thing. And another good point is never give your teenagers cash. You know, give them gift cards. Or, you know, they can still, there's always a way they can like sell that gift card to your friend and get money for drugs, but it's never a good idea to give them cash because, yeah, it's gift cards, whatever they want, take them shopping, but no cash. So, did I answer your question or? Oh, you're welcome. No more questions? All problems solved?
No. I've got something. One of the things. Go ahead. I've got a question. Somebody
Yes, I would like to echo everything said today. Appreciating the fact that you're taking our time.
Oh, not a problem at all.
The community. The question I have is, are there any resources provided by the state or the county for prevention of depression, child abuse, neglect, any sort of abuse in terms of addiction or whatever? There is any other phobia that we have. Are there resources provided by the state and the county for prevention? Is number one. And are there resources provided by the county or the state for intervention?
Okay.
So before the situation will arise and after the situation will arise, that the community can leverage.
Right. I understand what you're saying. So what they will tell you, it depends on the income, okay, a lot of times with like counties and stuff like that because they do have places like Life Bath and they do have like other rehabs and all that stuff that are free, that don't require money, but or little money, but basically, I mean, they will give you a brochure on like depression and blah blah blah, drug abuse, bipolar, whatever it is, and they'll tell you to go see a therapist. And what we do when I get a patient is I ask them questions. The first session is basically that, feel them out, and then if I feel like I really don't like diagnosing anybody with anything, like labeling them with something. So I will label them with this thing, because I think when you label somebody with something, it gets in their head, and that's who they believe they are. And so then I would, if I feel like, you know what, they're bipolar or, you know, they're depressed to a certain level, because depression is like so, it could be due to an adjustment period, you know, where you don't need medication. It's just that you're adjusting to certain life change or whatever, that you just need therapy and you don't need to be on any medication. But then there's depression that you need to be on medication for. And that's where a psychiatrist comes in. And psychiatrists will spend like about 10 minutes with you and give you the medication, and then they'll refer you to a therapist. But as far as community centers, they are more for the indigent. That they do have them, but they are not, you have to qualify for them.
Would you be able to provide us with some resources that you're aware of, so we can take them back?
Yeah, you know, I sure will. It was just a really short notice, so I didn't have anything with me. So, but I mean, yeah, those are easy to get. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On the social media addiction and economic addiction, so nowadays so much to the media itself. And part of it is, I guess, I guess the reaction on the social media or
Oh yeah.
so you know you can see which is on tablet all day.
Oh yeah. You'd be surprised how well like a 2-year-old can work a tablet. It's like these kids are born different, so I don't know. But
What is the question of concern here?
The question is how to deal with kids, what techniques that we use for kids to compare the reasonable of the problem of electronics.
right. Well, there's always like, and that comes from the parents. You have to have a set amount of time that they can use their social media, and that depends on their age, right? So if you have a 7-8-year-old, they go to school, whatever, let them have their social media time for 30 minutes. You can't take social media away from kids, unfortunately. You can't take it away from adults. You know, like how many times have you been to a restaurant where the whole family is not communicating, everybody's on their phone? They're together, they're eating, but that's what it is today. And it's very unfortunate, actually, but, you know, and we have thousands of friends on Instagram, Facebook. I mean, we're so proud of them, but we don't know them. So, I mean, are they our friends? No. And so with the kids, I would set time limits for them to be on their social media. And time limits, you know, kids are getting obese these days because they're just sitting on their phones, they're sitting on their iPads, computers, you name it. They're on Snapchat, they're on this, they're that. So put them in sports. You know, let them play basketball, let them play whatever it is that they're into. Don't force them what interests them. You know, so have like time for that, and make sure when you guys are eating dinner, including the parents, nobody has any kind of cell phone, nothing. I mean, that is, and not watching TV and eating dinner. I mean, we're all guilty of that. When we have a tiring day, we're like, oh, forget it. You know, let's just do this. But that is we're living in a world where just we're working, I think, and we have less family time. That's why marriages are ending. That's why a lot of stuff is happening. But I think if you have a set dinner time, and kids will be like, yeah, I'll eat later. I'll take it upstairs. No. You eat. And the parents have to follow the same rules. No phone calls, no nothing. Everything can wait. What did we do before cell phones? We lived. So now you leave your cell phone at home and you're just like, oh, no, I'm 20 minutes away. I got to go back and get it. So that, I think, is what you can do. Like, set a time for them. And kids are very sneaky. They'll tell you, okay, we're going to go to sleep now. All right? Give me your cell phone. And we're all putting as parents, you need yours sometimes for work or whatever, so you can't do that. But kids don't need their cell phones at night. They're not getting any emergency calls. Okay, so here are your cell phones over here, and you can go to your room now. So, and don't have TVs in the room. That's the worst mistake parents make, putting TVs in a kid's room. Have a TV room where you all can sit and watch things together. The more family time, the better. And then give your kids some time to watch the shows they want to watch. I mean, I'm not saying they have no right, but even now, in schools, they have phone time. They have, and it's, they're getting plenty of that. So you taking it away from them is like, no. Have a schedule. It's really good to have a schedule. You study from this time to this time. Your social media time is this time. When they come back from school, I don't know, with my son, I normally give him an hour to chill. They've worked hard all day. Their kids do. They get tired. So either you watch TV or you watch your social media or be on your phone, do whatever, you want to do. And then from 6:30 onwards to your homework. And then, because, depending on what grade and what schools, it is hard for the kids. They're doing homework 3 hours at night, so, and then have a schedule for them, and then if they want half an hour before they sleep with their phones or whatever, give them that half an hour and then tell them that, hey, put it back here downstairs, and you'll have it in the morning. And so that way you're creating and you're setting the rules. And the younger you do it, the better. The older, they'll find it.
Any final questions?
All the time. When you say they do weird things, what do you mean by that? Yeah, okay. So kids are best at manipulating their parents, and they will do it every chance that they get. And so it is the parent who needs to recognize that they're being manipulated, okay? Oh, mom, so-and-so, at school, I drive a Civic and so at school, driving a BMW. I make better grades than them, and their parents let them do that. You know, our rules, we tell them, our family, our rules. You know, they have a lot of stuff that they probably want that you have. As far as your question as the kid seeking attention, a kid will seek, or adults will seek attention, whether it's positive attention or negative attention. It doesn't matter to them. They just want the attention. So the best thing to do is ignore that. Do not give them attention when they want attention, because they need to know that they have to do things to get the right kind of attention. And if they're throwing a fit or lying, or confront them with that and talk to them and tell them, say, you want attention from me, do positive stuff, I'll give you positive attention. But if you're going to do negative things, do not think that I'm going to waste my time or energy on you by yelling, screaming, or anything like that. So, because that is negative attention, and they do, and some people love that. Adults, kids, whatever. I mean, any kind of attention is attention. So, that's what I was saying. You're welcome.
Thank you. My question is, kids awake until 2 o'clock in the morning. Not kids, I mean teens or adults. I mean 21 years old, because I have 22 and 20. And so how we can convince them that they should not awake that long, and then so they get up late, and by the time it's lunch, that's their breakfast and stuff like that. How we can convince them, or how we can stop that, or is this normal for the new generation?
Well, are they like going to school?
Yes, they're in college.
And so what time are their classes?
Well, I mean, I stay on the road 5 days, so
yeah.
I don't know much about the classes they have. Sometimes they have classes because they take classes in the evening time because they don't want to get up late in the morning.
So after that, my son has a 19, that's when he finishes.
Okay.
And naturally he comes back home, and then he has to do his homework, and then play a little bit, and that's why he researches.
So, but are your kids doing that? I mean, or are they just like staying up late and waking up and having breakfast, and are they doing what they're supposed to do is what I'm asking.
Yeah, they are good in school.
Yeah.
But I just don't like their habits, because you can't go nowhere, once they get up late. You have to go and everything. And if you don't like to go, I mean, sometimes whenever we have to go, they go with us, but they want to sleep. So they go to.
Because they've been up. Yeah. So when they're like 21, 22, they're adults, right? They're young adults. So it's kind of hard to put rules on them. But you can always like tell them that, like whenever in reality, like when they get a job, like school, you can set your own times and stuff. But when you start working, it's going to be morning. And unless they're working remotely from home and, doing their thing, but it's set a time. Like what time do they wake up?
11 or something like that.
So basically, when you're going with family, you are there, right, on the weekend. So, okay, fine, they are waking up on Saturday late or something. Hey, be a friend with them. Okay, let's get up early tomorrow. I'll go to gym with you.
Well, They go gym every day, but
Yeah, you know, that's what you have to change too.
Yeah.
and also on that portion, they go to gym at 10 o'clock,
10 o'clock at night.
10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I guess it is normal for them. And
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? But I know it bothers you, okay? But I think as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're not out like doing something bad late at night, that's another thing. Because, you know, if they're like out partying till like 2 in the morning and getting drunk and doing all that stuff, then it's an issue. But if they're not doing that, and they're going and working out, and then going out to eat or something, hanging out with their friends, not doing drugs, not doing anything, and are making good grades at school, but making their own time, then, I mean, there's not, you know, there are night people and there are morning people. And for some people, like, you know, the type A personalities, they're up 6 in the morning, no issues. And then there are people who work really well at night, but they are not morning people. They do not want to wake up that early in the morning. And as long as it's not an issue with their grades or them, like, doing drugs, getting drunk, or anything else, I mean, I would leave it alone.
okay.
You know, I mean, they have a lot of responsibilities ahead, trust me. Once they start working and all that stuff, they're not going to be able to do that. So I think it's important to let people enjoy their time when they can too. You
Yeah, I
know?
can agree to that, because my daughter used to do the same thing, since she is working from last 1 year. They wake up at 7 and go to practice.
Yeah. 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 Put them some slack.
So, to go back to the same question, is last year was education, media and Facebook and the gaming. You know, most of the kids are just gaming, they're playing gaming or something like that.
Yeah, but you know, it depends on the age again. Once they're like 21, 22, it's really hard to control that. Now, if your kids are in the teens, yeah, you can control it. But if his kids are in their 20s, then you can't do much. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's extremely common. Yeah. But like I said, like, as long as they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, as far as chores, school, respecting you, not doing drugs, not hanging out with the wrong people, then, how old are your kids? Yeah. On the weekends or weekdays?
Well, some days weekdays now, because the stuff don't matter.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't base on that because I only learn things.
Yeah.
So playing till 12, 2 in the morning, and then getting up at 11,
Yeah, that's where I say, like, they've done their job. Give them some slack, because they're gonna be back. You know, I mean, they're kids.
They can move on, they're adults and they have the right to live their life in their own way. So, ये पंजाबी सवाल पूछा है, तो definitely पूछ सकता है। अगर कोई भी मान जाओगे, उन्हें मुश्किल से निकलने they have experts,
ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੈਡਿਊਲ ਬਣਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਜਵਾਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਇੰਨੇ ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਇੰਨੇ ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਰ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਪੇਰੈਂਟ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਮਦਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ 10 ਮਿੰਟ ਹੋਰ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦੀ ਕਲਾਸਾਂ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਅੱਜ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਲਾਸਾਂ ਵੀ ਟੀਮ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ जो कर जो सिचुएशन बनने दी आपको सारा पता हो आपको गाइड तक पहुंच जाती है ये ना कि
oftentimes we make a schedule and one parent will say okay and another one will say you know what take 10 more minutes 15 more minutes. So do we need a class for the parents to be on the same page?
Yes, I mean, yes. It's like she said earlier, kids are the biggest manipulators. They will play parents against each other any chance they get. So if one parent is easygoing and says, okay, yeah, 10 more minutes is fine, both parents have to be on the same page. That is something you guys need to talk to each other about, because that's not the kid's fault. That's the parent's fault.
चलो जी कर दिया कि नहीं इन्हें होना चाहिए क्यों पता कि ठीक नहीं है फादर को भी अंडरस्टैंड चाहिए कि मैं आया और बोले कि हाँ मैं बाहर आया मेरी रिस्पेक्ट कई बार जवाब करने नहीं आगे इन्हीं की तरफ से कि फादर को भी ठीक करना चाहिए
She was trying to explain that oftentimes it's a lady who is always spending the 7 days with the kids, and father is usually on the road for 5 days, and when he comes back he expects a lot of respect and all of that. But she says that it's a responsibility of the father too. She was not asking a question. She was answering her husband who asked the question before, that it's the responsibility of the father too to spend time with the kids.
Yes. It takes a village to raise a kid. So, I mean, if you're like letting your wife do all the work, I understand that you work. And that's another very good subject actually, because men, most men, I won't say all men, but, and you're not going to like this, but you guys think just because you're working outside, you're working. And the woman, I don't know what you guys imagine in your head, like, she's a housewife, so she's taking naps all day and relaxing and no, that's a 24-hour job. So, I mean, that is, I have done both. I've stayed home with my kids when they were little and I work. Let me tell you, to me, working is much easier than staying home, because first of all, women don't get respected for staying home and raising the kids. Okay, it's like when you go out, people will ask, so do you work? Yeah? What do you do? Homemaker? Oh, that's not working. That's working the hardest, actually. So that's taking all the responsibility, and you as men cannot do your job as well as you do if there's not a good woman taking care of your household and your kids and raising them right? So to answer her question, he's working 5 days a week. Well, so she's working 7. So when does she get a break? I mean, when is it that you can say, okay, honey, you spent enough time with the kids and you worked hard. I know I'm tired too, but let me spend time. You are off. Let me spend time with the kids. Is that difficult to do? And that way you're bonding with your own kids. Because if you're just working, let me tell you, when you're gone, your kids are going to remember the things you did with them. They're not going to remember that you were working and buying them stuff or whatever, but they're going to remember the moments that you have done fun stuff with them. And that's what you want to leave behind. So, yeah, you need to give your wife a break too, you know. So, or else, like they say, if the woman's not happy, nobody's happy. So.
Wrap this up. Sandy, you heard something?
I just had a question about, like, when your kids, you recognize that they are friends with who is not a good influence on your kids. How to break that bond without having bad parents, ruin your kids?
Well, yeah. Now, every kid is going to have a friend that is not a good influence. Okay? And it's a human thing. We all have rebelliousness within us, where when we are told, okay, no, you can't hang out with this person, that person becomes more attractive. So, in this case, I would slowly, explain to your kids what the kid is doing, why you think. Why is extremely important. Explaining why is extremely important. Why are they, or why do you feel they are a bad influence to your kid? And he will tell you, no, he's not, you're just thinking that way, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, I don't like the way he does this. Why does he do it? Why does he do this? And I do not want you following that. So, you have to be really frank and not just ignore it, because if you're seeing something, follow your gut. Because if you feel like he's a bad influence, more than likely he is. And teach your kids to be strong enough because our kids are going to be in situations, you all have to agree with this, they're going to be with different people where everything is happening. There's drugs happening, there's alcohol, there's everything. It's what you teach your kids to stay away from, So now they can't leave a party, because in any and every party you go to, there is something happening. So you have to just have, as a kid, the maturity that's been taught by your parents to stay away from stuff like that. You can have friends, but you don't have to do what your friends do. So I'm sure you guys have friends that you don't agree with as adults, but you keep your own this thing. So same thing with kids. You just if a kid is getting arrested, getting in trouble, then yeah, I would not want my kids to be with them. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Very first thing, thank you very much, Dr. Khan, for spending time with us and going over each and every detail of parenting and how we should talk to our kids and actually save ourselves and our community. Thank you very much. I do feel that we need a follow-up session as well with a much larger audience than the 50 or 60, because it is very helpful, and I have learned myself a lot of things, and I wish we can take this further. And I again commend Apna Sanjay Punjab team who has done this job, commendable job, and hope they can continue in future as well. Now with that, I would like to summarize something from the Sikh history and how our gurus were way ahead of our time. And if we can implement a iota of things from our guru's life, we might not be, or we may be able to face and handle the situation very well. Let me ask you a question. When Guru put a female head of a manji way back in 1600, how many people, especially the society which is run by men, liked it? We had, out of 52 manjis, about 20 of them was led by a female. And at that time, even today, some of the people don't give a right to female to lead the congregation in some of the other communities. But our gurus did it. And the society accepted. Another thing, how many people reacted when Guru said, a widow has a right to marry? And he pursued that. He followed that. And everybody else followed that. And this was in 16th century. How many people believed? People were still fighting. Even till today, women got a voting right way back in 1920s, 60s, and when all the men were in World War II and World War II, and there was such a political need for people to give a right to women. So I'm trying to tell you something, that our gurus were way ahead of their time, and we claim to be a sect. And here, a person lost his life because of our pressure. Because he exactly knew that he will not be accepted. Because this is exactly what happened to his family. That was probably the pressure that lady felt, the mother, when even though she was a nurse, a practice named RN, she did that what she thought was right at that time. And she can somehow make it vanish. We are not a forgiving community. We need to look at our gurus and how they led life. The science is not coming from when they've done something new. This has already been given to us. When Guru said there is a countless stars and countless galaxies and countless universe, when the other people were still counting the numbers, some say 1, some say 2, some say 7, so 7 has 7. The Gurus were saying something else. Even today, the Big Bang theory has been debunked. People have a different thoughts and processes. And so people are asking, how did the Guru Nanak wrote this thing? Lakh Agasa Patal. To learn from our Guru. And let's be a little forgiving. And we can start this from today. And you exactly know the cases that I'm talking about. How much of a respect that we give to a person who has committed a mistake, but she has or he has redeemed himself or herself, but we still don't give the same respect. With that, thank you very much for coming. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
अब थोड़ा क्या हो सकते 5 से 10 मिनट ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਾਰਡ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਗੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਤਾਂ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਟੁਗੇਦਰ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਅਗਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਲਿਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਵੇ ਅਗਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਮੈਂਟਸ ਆਉਣਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਅਗਲਾ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਲੱਗਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸ ਕੇ ਜਾਓ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਜਸਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੇਂਜ ਆਏਗੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਾਲ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਔਰੰਗਜ਼ੇਬ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕਮੀ ਹੈ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ। ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕਮੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਵਰਕ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ। ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਖੇਡ ਕਰੇਜ਼ ਹੁਣ ਥੋੜਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ से
एक्चुअली अपनी गल इतनी चलनी कि जो आप कोई आया होगा गेस्ट तो आप नहीं बोलते हो तरीके आपको बोलना चाहिए। आप हजे उस लेवल से गए नहीं है कि आप कम्यूनीकेशन कर सकते हैं। थोड़े बहुत सारे सवाल होने हैं ये कल होने कि आप पूछना चाहिए आप पूछना चाहिए ऐसा नहीं करना है। आप चाहते हैं कि आप इतने आप ही हो तो कोई है नहीं है कि आप डिसाइड करिए कि ये ठीक है नहीं ठीक है अगली बार की करना। एक चीज आप चाहते थे कि कोई पंजाबी आप मिलता एक लेडी थी जिन्हें आना सीगा ते उन्होंने एक एमरजेंसी हो गई उन्होंने कैलिफोर्निया फिल्मों से जाना पाया इसे रिकॉर्ड इस करके आप इन्होंने शो टाइम इन्हों का धन्यवाद है कि इन्होंने इन्होंने फर्स्ट डे पता लगा कि मिलनी जो है ठीक है। सो एनीवे सारे देखे जाओ अपने ताकि सानू पता लगे कि अपन की करने की लोड़ हैगी है। तुसीं हमेशा नाल होंदे आ ਉਹ नाल होना ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕਹਾਂਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਵਾਕਈ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਇਹਦਾ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਜ਼ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਕਰੀਏ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਅਦਾਲਤ ਹੈਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਬਣੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ। ਈਵਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਪਰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਪਿਆ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਕਿ ਐਡਵਰਟਾਈਜ਼ ਕੋਈ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਵੇਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਸੋ ਸਿਰਫ ਇਹ ਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਲੱਭਣਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਪੀਕਿੰਗ। ਸੋ ਪਰ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਟੀਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਅਡਾਲਟ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਲੋਕੀ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਮੂਵ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਇੱਕ ਥਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ। ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਾੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਦੂਰ ਰੇਟ ਨਾ ਹੋਈਏ ਕੱਲਾ ਇਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਕਿ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੀ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਦੂਜੇ ਜਾਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਨੇ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਸਾਡਾ ਸੂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰੀਏ ਜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਨਵਾਇਰਮੈਂਟ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਕਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਡੀ ਲਿਸਟ ਹੋਵੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਆਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਤੋਂ ਕਦੀ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਯੂਥ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਸਿਰ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਆਓ ਬੈਠੀਏ ਸੋਚੀਏ ਥਿੰਕ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਇਟ ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੀਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ। ਹੁਣ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਮਕਸਦ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿਰਸੇ 'ਚ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾ ਲੈਣ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿ ਸ਼ੇਮ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਸਿਰਫ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੀ ਇੰਨੀ ਗੱਲ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਮਾੜੀ ਮੋਟੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾ ਲਵੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਿੱਧੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਦਰ ਗੁੱਡ ਸਟਫ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਬੈਕਗ੍ਰਾਉਂਡ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਜਾਣੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹ ਕੌਣ ਦੱਸੂਗਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਹੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ। ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੈਪ ਉਹ ਪੈ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਛੋਟੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਸੋ ਇੰਨੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਲੈਟਸ ਡੂ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਫॉर द ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੰਮ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਐਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਪਰ ਐਸ ਕੰਮ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਆਉਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਆਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣ ਪਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਇਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਨੀਂਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ। ਆਪਾਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਹੋਵੇ ਪਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੀਡ ਕੌਣ ਕਰੂਗਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਜੇ ਗਰੂਮਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਦੱਸ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਜਵਾਬ ਹੋਣਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝੋ ਇਦਾਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਦਾਂ ਕਬੂਲ ਤਾਂ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਮੀਟ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਟਲ ਜਾਵੇ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ, ਜਾਂ ਬਹੁਤੇ ਦੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ। ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਰ, ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਲੇਟ ਜਾਗਦੇ ਰਾਈਟ, ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਫਾਈਨਲੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਟਸ ਨਾਰਮਲ ਰਾਈਟ। ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਬਰਡਨ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੋਰ 20 ਬੰਦੇ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਜੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ। ਆਪਾਂ ਅਗਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ, ਕਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੀਏ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪਰਸਨਲੀ ਆਈ ਡੋਂਟ ਲਾਈਕ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਸਟੱਫ। ਇਸ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਸੈਂਸਿਟਿਵ ਹੈਗਾ। ਮੇਰਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੈਗਨੈਂਸੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟੀ ਨਾਲ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਡੀਲ ਕਰਨਾ, ਇਸ ਟੋਟਲੀ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ, ਸੋ ਦੈਟਸ देयर ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨ। ਪਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਮ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਹੁਣ 2 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਉਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਦੋਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਐਜ਼ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ। ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅੰਦਰ ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕ ਕੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਦੋਂ ਲੰਗਰ ਹਾਲ 'ਚ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਵਿਆਹ ਸ਼ਾਦੀ ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਆਲ ਵੀ ਡੂ ਟਾਕ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਨਹੀਂ। ਮਤਲਬ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਵੇ। ਮਤਲਬ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੇ ਸਕੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੇ ਖਾਣ ਆਏ ਆ ਤੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ, ਜਸਟ ਡੂ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਫॉर द ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ। ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ $20 'ਚ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ, $20 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬੈਠਣ ਦੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਲੋਕ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਟਰੀ। ਸੋ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਉਸਨੂੰ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰੀਏ, ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੀਏ। ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਆ, ਲੈਟਸ ਟਾਕ ਐਟਲੀਸਟ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੀਏ, ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕਰੀਏ। ਹਾਂਜੀ ਭਾਜੀ,
ਇੱਕ ਸੁਜੈਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ I think we need to create a support group in the Gurdwara, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ no judgment should be made. If parents have a problem and then जिन्हों ने experience है, just like a support group, and they can help, parents can help parents who already have gone through that situation and who already have seen. Maybe sometimes people don't talk, and that's they'll open up the channel to talking to those parents who can keep that to themselves, but they can help. And then we can look at if they need more counseling or like this. And it should be continued instead of just one session. This should be continued on a monthly basis or like a bi-weekly, so that more and more like ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ 22 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੇਟ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਸੀ, you just found out ਕਿ ਉਹ ਲੇਟ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਸੀ, but it's normal because they are 18, they are adults. ਤੇ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ it's not because they are doing intentionally, but they don't know, and these things can enlighten parents.
We need your support here. You can see the audience, the presence, the attendance here. Could have been hundreds actually, given the problem we have. But as you said, the importance of this issue is way lower as opposed to a couple of other things where they have all the time to spend on. So we need support like you, talking to your neighbors or anybody who knows that those things are constantly on there. And you could be hiring a bigger hall, and you could be hiring a couple of counselors here. So we need your support. जिन्हें भी आए हैं, तो अपने friends से आगे करें, see how helpful it is. And very honestly, ये ना सोचो भी हो कि बेकर फील्ड हो गया है, इतने हो गया, इतने भी एक ऐसे लोग की तरफ शायद छट कर गए। It does happen here also. So we are a community who judged very quickly and pass on the comment, unfortunately. So मैं बेनती करूँगा, either we change with time now and it will be less painful, or time will change you and that will be more painful. And I'm seriously telling you,
खासकर किसानी परिवार अपना सारा बिहेवियर हो जाएगा, नहीं समझने कोई गल नहीं है। We have adopted the Western nations and we would like to keep the best of the Western nations. At the same time, keep on having a pride in that tribal mentality. So we need to drop that tribal mentality. क्योंकि साढ़े गुरु साहब ने ड्रॉप की थी एंड सारे इतिहास में जान लो इट्स रिपीटिशन बेसिकली एंड अहीं अपने अक्खा बंद की हैं एंड अनदर थिंग आई वांट टू कमेंट सारी चीज़ें माड़ी ने सारी कम्युनिटी एंड देयर इज अ बायस हियर इन वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज एज वेल इट्स ऑल द डेवलपिंग नेशंस हैव अ फीमेल हेड ऑल द साउथ एशियन कंट्रीज इन सम ऑफ द यूरोपियन but somehow the most powerful country doesn't see a female head. So let's not think that everything is bad enough. As he pointed out to her, that giving gifts are not necessarily the bad thing in our community. It always has to be looked at who you are talking to. So some of the things you need to grasp, some of the things you need to modify as per our needs and the way we think. These are very generic rules. So it was a word of caution देना चाहूँगा। कई गल्लां हो सकता है कि सारे अप्लाई ना करती हों। When the rules and the guidance are not made by her or the counselor, it's usually by the scientific group of people who will propose some ideas. They could be wrong at times, but we can learn from them. So मेरी बेनती है कि we need your support or anybody else who has come.
बहुत धन्यवाद सारे लोग आए अपना समय काटे। मैं चिप्स से पानी पीछे पे आएगा चिप्स में प्यास लगी है पर मैं जरूर फील कर रहा हूँ कि आप उदा नहीं आप करते जिस आप करने की लोड़ है। तो मेरी यही बेनती है कि खेलों के खास करके देश बच्चे हो गया जिस भैन जी है रिटायर हो चुके हैं वो कम्यूनिटी के लिए बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं बिकॉज वो सारा कुछ जोड़ा है और सानू पता है कि जिदा की चलता फिर पहला आए थे उन्होंने बहुत सफर किया जी पहली जनरेशन सी वो कितना दे एक्सपीरियंस लग के गए है सानू की चीज करना पै सकता है। सो आप सारे प्लेटफॉर्म पर इकट्ठे होइए ताकि जोड़ा आपको कोई फ्यूचर जोड़ा वधिया मिल सके। बहुत लोग डिप्रेशन है मेरा ख्याल है जिन्हें आप इतने बैठे रहे आप लर्न करने के हिसाब न आए तो प्रॉब्लम आप पीछे छड़ गए कि आप कोई ना प्रोसेस अपनी शुरू हो जाती है आप कोई ना कोई हल कर सकते हैं। आप जरूर सीखा होगा। मैं बहुत सारी गल्लां मैंने समझ लगियां है ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ भी लगियां होणगी पर ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਹਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਦਾਂ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਨ ਖੋਲ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਵਾਕਈ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਹੇ ਯਾਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਮੇਰੀ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਸੋ ਅਗੇਨ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ
मैं ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਜ ਹੋਇਆ ਇਹਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੰਗਰ ਦਾ ਫਿਕਰ ਪੈ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪਤੀਲੇ ਚੱਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਜੋਰ ਸਾਡਾ ਲੰਗਰ ਤੇ ਲੱਗਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ 8-10 ਬੰਦੇ ਉਧਰ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਆਨੰਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਸੁਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਛੋਲੇ ਬਣਾਉਣੇ ਆ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਬਣਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਖਾਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ कोई फर्क नहीं पैदा जी एक दिन अभी घरों खा के ना चल जाएंगे तो घरे जाके डिनर करना कोई फर्क नहीं पैदा। तो जिन्होंने प्रोग्राम अरेंज करना